This is the concluding part of the HTML section of this course. We are going to create a simple project in this video that puts together all the things that you've learned so far. This is the website that I will show you how to create. It's a basic website. We have some images and we have some text. We have a YouTube video here, and we have list element. We have a form here, and then we also have some list elements and paragraph, and we also have tables. I recommend that you follow along, then try to create something for yourself. It can be a simple website about yourself, just following along to see how things are put together, then put this concept to create a website for yourself. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing that you should do when creating a project is to actually create a folder that will contain all the files for the project. So we're going to start doing that now. Working files, chapter 1, and within the chapter 1 HTML folder, I'm going to create a new folder, name the folder projects. Open the project folder and create another subfolder, name this images. Right now we have the project folder, and within the project folder we have images folder. Let's go over to the text editor, and here I can now navigate to this folder. Now we're going to create our files within this folder. So for me, I could right click here, click file, open. I want to create HTML document, and the very first file we want to create should be the index file. The name index is a special name that refers to the default page that will be loaded by the web browser when a user navigates to your website. So basically the index page will be the same as your home page. I'll click on OK to create this file. Right now I've created this index within the folder. If you're using a notepad, it's the same thing. You just ensure that you're saving the index file within the projects folder here. I'm just going to grab some header elements from my snippet. So you can create a snippet for things like this, and all you simply need to do is to edit the text that are in here. Okay, right now let's look at the project again. You can see that the content of this web page is centered, and we have this area which is marked with a different color. Let's start by creating this first division. We're going to create a div. Remember, a div allows us to group other HTML elements together. And then we're going to use the style element, style, set a background color for this div. And the color that I've used is Alice blue. Let's specify width for this div, 700 pixels. And then let's just give a height first to see how it looks on the screen. Say 50 pieces. Let's open this on the browser. Right click, open with Chrome. All right, we can see the div here. Next, we want to make sure that it is centered on the screen. To center it on the screen, we need to apply some style. And the style basically to center a div on the screen will be to give it a margin of 0 and then set it to auto. This will automatically put the div on the center of the page. Let's save this and view it on the web browser. All right, the div is centered now. The next thing we want to do is to create this little navigation that we have at the top here. The link which says home, books, and contacts. We can also put this in a div. First one would be index. Then I just put a vertical bar here. Grab this link, put a vertical bar. Okay, and lastly, to books. And here we have contacts. Okay, right here we have the menu at the top. Take note that now we're not applying any styles to our menus. We're just trying to see how to put things together. You can see that there's a little space here before the text. And when you come to the one that we're creating now, see that there's no space here. To make provision for that space, we need to give a padding to the div. So come here and say padding 5 ps. So we're going to be talking more about styling elements when we get to the next chapter, which is CSS. That chapter is entirely about styling HTML elements. For now, we just continue. Refresh, you can see that the space is added for us right now. Next will be the heading. For this, we need to use the H1 tag. I'm just going to grab the text here. And we need to style this heading. You can see that from the demo that we're following, it's on the center. So we use the text aligned property to put it to the center. Let's do a refresh. See that this is slightly bigger, so let's increase the font size. And then let's also get rid of this height property here. Font size is 40 ps. We'll refresh. Okay, right now we have the heading nicely displayed there. Next, we're going to include this picture and the text that we have here. So you can actually go to Wiki Jonathan Edwards, and right here, this is the image. I'll click on it, and then I can copy the address if I just want to reference it directly, or download it to my computer. I'm going to download this image. So take note that we are going to be saving this in the images folder within our project directory. So you open project images and then save the image. So we're going to create a paragraph here, and within the paragraph we create an image tag. And then we just reference the location of the image. Let's refresh our page. Right here we have the image displayed. And you can see that the full size of the image is being displayed here. We have not specified the size and width for this image within our code. So let's take care of this. Let's use the style attribute to specify the width and the height of this image. Width specify 600 and the height 500. Then one more thing we need to do here is to specify the alternate text. I'm just going to grab the name here and use as the alt text. Now we have reduced the size of the image. Okay, here if you look at the sample project that we're following, the image is centered and we have this text here. Let's fix that. All right, the easiest way for us to do that would be to put a style attribute here and align the text to center. This will align all the content within this paragraph to the center. For the text, we're going to use the small tag, and I'm going to grab the text and paste it here. Right, we have the text here. You can also see that this is italicized and bold. So we style the small tag, says the font style be italic and the weight should be bold. If we weren't going to use this, you can simply use the strong tag or the B tag here. For this case, let's use the font weight and refresh the page. And next we have the paragraph here. I'm going to grab the text. And then we're just going to create a paragraph and put the text in the paragraph. And we have one more paragraph here. Next, you can see that we have the horizontal line here, and we have this area with a different background color for the event timeline. So let's quickly fix this. So immediately after this paragraph, we're going to create the horizontal rule using the H arrow tag. And then we're going to create another div and style this with the background color of white. And inside this div, we're going to create H2 event timeline. Okay, we have the horizontal line here, and we have the little div here with the H2 element event timeline. All right, next we're going to fix this part. We have the date Jonathan Edward was born and the date he died. To do that, we're going to use the definition list, DL tag, and then we're going to create a first list, which is using the DT tag. We're going to apply formatting to this, use the B tag to bold in the text. And lastly, we use the DD tag to put the test along with the date it was born. Save and refresh this on the browser. We're just going to grab the test for this, paste it here, and grab all this. And then paste it here. Let's refresh the browser now. Right here we have the born date and the date he died. You can see here that the definition tag is actually outside of the div that we created here. But in the sample that we're following, they're all inside the div. So let's see how to fix that. All right, see that we closed the div here, and then I created the definition tag outside of the div. So what we need to do is to move the closing tag for the div and just bring it down here. Okay, so we have the test within the div right now. Something that I will quickly recommend that you make a practice of is to use comments wherever possible. Though we've not talked about this, comments will help you to mark out things in your project. So in HTML, we can create a comment like this using a less than sign, exclamation mark, then dash dash, and then a dash dash and a greater than sign. So whatever is in between this is regarded as a comment. So whatever is in between this is regarded as a comment. Main container, copy this, and here this is where we're closing the main container. So here say end main container. Menu, and the next container that we have here is for the event timeline. This is where we close the event timeline, and here is where we end the menu container. So mind you, the comment will not be displayed in the browser when we refresh the page, but it will help you to remember how you've aligned things and what you're doing in a specific section of your code. All right, let's continue. Okay, now we have the horizontal line and the embedded YouTube video, and then we have this little test at the bottom here. Okay, let's quickly take care of that. All right, so we come outside the div for the timeline, and then we put the h2 tag here. Then before the h2, we need to put the horizontal line, and then we need to look for the video from YouTube. Then go to video. Okay, we already know how to embed a YouTube video. Let's open the video content and then click on share, embed, and grab the code. Go back to our test editor and paste the code here. And right here we have the video embedded. All right, we can reduce the size, or we can leave it like this. So to reduce the size, we need to just play with the properties of the width and height here. Say 300, let's say 280. So this will reduce the size of the embedded YouTube video. And finally, for this home page, we need to include this test here and then put a link. When the user clicks on this link, they can read more about Jonathan Edward. Click on the link to get the URL. Go back to our test editor, and right here, I'm going to put it in a paragraph. Use the anchor tag, set the target to blank, so it opens on a new window, and then say read more about Jonathan. Save and refresh. Now we need to align it to the right hand side. We use the style attribute to align it to the right. Test align. So the next thing we need to do is to create the books page and also to create the contact form. Let's start by creating the books page. I'll open the test editor, and what I want to do here is to save this as. Before I do that, I need to edit these links, books, and here contacts. So go to file and save as. Change this to book. So if you're using Notepad, you create a new Notepad, copy all the code from here, and then paste it in the new Notepad books. So I'm just going to edit the keyword and the description. So the menu will be in the same position. We need to change this text to works of Jonathan Edwards. Here we have works of Jonathan Edwards. And right here, this text is aligned to the left, not the center. So we need to get rid of that style. So let's get rid of this. Also get rid of the image and get rid of this style. So we're going to get rid of actually all these until the last paragraph. Let's refresh the browser now. Okay, I'm going to grab the text in this paragraph and just put it here. Next, we have one more paragraph there. I'm going to grab the text and we have the list element here. So let's quickly take care of that. So I'm going to just duplicate this. Right, we come over to the page again and take the text one after the other. So you don't need to watch me doing this. I'm just going to fast forward. All right, I have all the list item here. Going to refresh the browser now. Okay, right now we have the exact same thing that we have here. All right, so the last one will be the contact page that we just have a form here. Add in here, contact details. Please complete the form below. We're happy to hear from you. So let's go and edit this. Okay, let's save this as contact. Okay, we change this to contact details. And then we have that text. Let's put that in a paragraph. The menu will remain the same. Nothing's changing for the menu. All right, so we're going to get rid of all this. Let's save and refresh the page. All right, we have contact details. Please fill the form below. We're happy to hear from you. Next, we have another heading here, inquiries and feedback. And then we have a form here. And you can see that the background color for this division is different from the main one. So this is similar to what we did here for the event timeline. So let's apply the same thing here. We're going to create a div and then style it, the background color white. Then within the div, we create the h2 elements. And then we now begin to create a form. So to arrange the form the way it appears here, you can see that the text that we have here are aligned and there's a reasonable space between the text and the form input control. So basically I use tables to arrange this form. I'm going to show you how we can do that now. Let's quickly get into that. So within this div, we're going to create a table and then close the table. Going to create the first row for the table. And then within this row, we're going to create the table data. This first table data will be for the text that we have there. And the second one will be for the form input control. So here's a name. And here we put the input control. For the name, it should be, the type should be text. And then we put the name, username. So we give a style here and set the width of this particular table cell to 30% of the entire table. And then I set the width of the form input control to 68%. Let's refresh and see how this looks in the browser. Right now we have the form displayed here. And you take note that here I have this text placeholder here, your name. So to do that, we're going to use the placeholder attribute of the input control. Say placeholder, your name. Do take note that some old browsers do not support placeholder attributes. We're just going to grab this now and do a little edit here. Be email and your email address. This will be message. For the message, because we require more tests, we need to use the test area. Set the columns to 26, then we set the rows to 5, then place order your message, then we close the test area. Let's refresh the page now. All right, our form is coming out nicely. And lastly, we have the button here. Paste this one more time, and now I'm going to leave this blank. And then for the button, we don't need a placeholder. Name, could set this to submit. The type should also be submit, and then the value should be submit. So this is the text that we show on the button. All right, we have a button here, but you can see that this button is aligned to the right. So it's easy to do that. We already know how to align content. All we need to do here is to put the text align property and say right. All right, you can see the button is aligned to the right. We have our books page. We have the home page here with all the components, and the links are working from each of the page. You can see that we can easily navigate. So you can see how easily it is to put things together step by step. This is just an introductory project. We're going to create more advanced projects as we go on. I would very much love to see the website that you're able to create in this HTML section. Feel free to post a link to your project in the discussion area of the course. So if you want to share your project with us, you can use codepen.io. You sign up for a new account. I already have an account. I'll just try to log in. Just create a new pen. All you need to do for this will be to just grab the code that we have here. Say for instance, our index page. I'll just grab all the code that I have here and paste in my CodePen project. So basically for this CodePen, you can get rid of all this and then get rid of all these tags. So if you are including the image, then you need to use the full URL for the image from the wiki link. So let's do that. We're going here. Right here, right click and copy image address. And then here, you're just going to paste that address. Save, and now we have the image here. Can change the view to full page. And then you see that we have exact same web application.